Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
What's happening, boys? How's it going? Okay, cool. We have 8 people.
We have,
Hey,
yeah.
Sonu, Ekagra, Gigi, Vipul, Ganesh. What's up? We'll just wait for a couple more minutes until
Yes.
everyone comes in, and then we'll take it from there. We'll see how many more people will join in. A lot of people are going to be grinding the IOPC, is what I think. So, yeah, man. How's it going, guys? Whoever's logged in, you guys can unmute yourself. We're a small group today, so you can unmute yourself.
Okay. They can unmute the sums.
Yes, all going great, Abhishek.
Awesome, man. Because, dude, I just found out today actually that the guy in my apartment who heads the Goa COVID department, he just got tested positive today. He lives like 3 floors above. So, pretty crazy. Like, everyone's trying to figure out if the apartment might be in containment zone and stuff like that, though. So, anyway, so what we'll do is we'll wait for a couple more minutes and we'll take it from there after that, yeah?
Yep.
We can just talk about normal stuff, non-COVID stuff. I've given my COVID update for the day. Yeah. Did any of you grind?
Ganesh.
Did any of you guys grind last night, Sunday? No? Yes? Maybe? Lana, you didn't play any tournaments, did you?
I didn't play any tournaments, no.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
fine.
I'm in the middle of shifting apartments, so once this week passes by, next week I'll be putting in volume again.
Okay. He just made a lot of money, so now he's just going to buy another. Got bigger budgets. Yeah. Cool. So we'll start at 505 if that's fine with everybody. You can give us a thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. 505. We'll just wait for some more people to join in.
Ganesh made two final tables last night.
Oh, which ones? IOPC?
No, I play on 9 stacks. So I final tabled the stack up event. I came second there, and one more mini stack up. I came sixth.
Oh, nice.
What was up top in those events?
So up top was 35K.
Okay.
Sorry, 35K. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I also tell you, Ganesh is very active on a Discord group.
Yeah. Discord and
I saw that.
Currently, I'm grinding the IMPS.
Okay.
IMPS is the Bazi series, right?
Yeah. The Bali series.
Yeah. It starts today, if I'm not wrong. What's the leaderboard on that? Yuppa. Okay, cool.
For real.
What happened?
Oh, there's some ID called For Real.
Okay. Oh, I thought you just jellied off. Yuri Bai is joined in. Nice. Gaurav Jain. What's up?
Joke
Awesome.
complete.
Avnish, Ekagra, Ina's here. Okay, we'll just give it another minute and then off to the races. How many of you guys have actually attended our webinar before? From the new guys. Ganesh, have you attended our webinar before? For real. For real, I don't even know your name, bro, but thanks. Are you talking about the one with JD last night? Dude, I was with JD last night till 7:30 in the morning, man. We were railing. JD did a stream, so it happened. And there were like 50 people like tuned in till 7 in the morning, dude. Awesome. Yeah, like I definitely intend to do more of those streams, but from an educational point of view, with Tane on the bootcamp page. So yesterday was more like, in fact, yesterday I was thinking whether I should go live from mine because of the final table. It's something I wanted to start, and but JD was going to go live as well, and I was like, all right, man, we'll just go live on your channel today. And I was playing the SSS as well, dude. So I was like, you know what, you handle the stream because I want to focus on the on the tournament. So you guys can just, I mean, you can be the host, and I'll just pitch in. Otherwise, if I was going to go live myself, then I wouldn't be able to play on my final two tables. I finally got some leaderboard points. Okay, cool. It's 505. Awesome. Let's go. Okay, guys. What we're gonna do is, yeah, we have Marcus as well. Awesome. Cool. So, as and when people join, let them join. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna give you a little synopsis about who we are, what we are. A lot of people know about us now. We've been doing this for the last six to 7 months, maybe. No, in fact,
It's
longer.
last September.
September is when we started.
September is when
But
we started, yeah.
we moved online during the lockdown, and ever since we moved online, it's been going good. Not that it was not going good earlier, but it's just that we've been able to reach out to more people between Tane and I, and we keep evolving, we keep learning, we keep growing. That's at least our philosophy, right? And the thing is, it's never been done before in the country. So what we're doing and what we attempt to do and how we're growing is the first of its kind, and it's just great, man. It's good to see so many people growing. We have what, close to 400 people on our Discord, Tane?
Yep,
Almost.
we have 400.
Yeah, 400 people on our Discord, and yeah, man. So today we're going to be choosing a topic. We can just skim through all the, since it's a small crew today. We usually get about 80 people,
Yep.
and because of this whole technical difficulty and all of these things and the IOPC going on, we have a smaller crew, which is fine. I like small crews; it's completely fine. So we'll just run you past a little, like 5-7 minutes of introduction, and then we'll get to the straight to the point.
And we
alright?
also will definitely keep this very interactive with you guys. So I would love to get more questions from you. Last
Yeah.
time I had a webinar on like the top 3 mental game mistakes that people actually do in their game, which is very less interactive because we had a larger audience, right? Since you have a smaller audience, I think we should keep it more interactive, take in one-on-one more questions, and actually address your individual problems also
Yeah.
to some extent.
In fact, this is slightly bigger than the size that we usually take on board with every batch. We try to restrict the number of people in a batch to 10. We've done about 13 or 14, if I'm not wrong. The
Yes,
biggest
14 is the largest batch we have taken.
14 is the largest batch that we've taken, but 10 is a good batch. So it's going to be very similar to what we're doing right now, just enough interactions as well. So what we'll do is we'll touch upon the world's favorite topic, right, which is going to be bad beats, which happened to us as well. And we'll just give you some perspectives. If you have questions, ask us questions. We'll tell you how we think about it, how to go about it. And we'll keep it light, man. We'll keep it light. Okay. So we're just going to do the mandatory run through, about the beautiful thing about poker is that everyone thinks they can play, right? It's one of our favorite lines, because what happens is, I mean, everyone thinks they can play the game until they play it long enough to realize that they can't play the game. Okay. The game is designed in such a way wherein you are going to be winning 1 in 3 hands on an average, right? Irrespective of how bad you are.
This is something, I relate with something I read recently. The less you know about something, the more you think you know about it. And the more you actually know about something, then you start to realize you actually know how little of it.
Yeah, that's actually true. And that's well said, because I went through that journey. Like, I think 10, 12 years back, I probably thought I knew the game. And today I'm like, fuck, I don't know shit. But there's so much more to learn. There's just so much more to learn. It's always evolving. But yeah, man. So the beautiful thing about poker is everyone thinks they can play it until they play long enough. Okay. Like we already told you about this, that Tane and I started this in September. We used to house people in Goa and teach people, for 4 or 5 days straight. And it was fun. And we got to learn so many things. We taught people about the game. It was obviously not as structured as what we have today. And we're going to be structuring it even further. And one thing led to another. And today we're like 400 members strong on our Discord. We've coached almost over 50 students in the
Yes,
last
we have coached over more than 50 students. That is true.
more than 50, more than 50 students in the last 6 months, and it's great. And the demand's going up. Everyone wants to be a part of it. People obviously want to be a part of it based on their convenience and a lot of different checkpoints. But it's awesome, man. We're also trying to build and try to get better and just give back so much more, because there's so many things we're learning along the way. Yeah. So let's move to the other one.
So yeah, that's a quick introduction about myself. I did my engineering from IIT back in 2014. I passed out, and I've been playing since 2015 with real money. Actually, we started in college, like everyone else. And one thing led to another. I started to realize that I should invest more time into poker, and that's going to give me a much more better EV results, And somehow I developed a liking towards PLO also, and started playing more of PLO and start to enjoy the game more. I also represented India at the Nations Cup last year, and have been part of Poker Dangal as a team pro since, until February this year. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So that's Tane's journey, and Tane obviously quit his job at Microsoft and start playing poker full time. Me, man, I started very early on. I pretty much didn't know what I was doing for the longest time. I always knew I wanted to play poker. And one thing led to another. I made every single mistake you can actually think of. Trust me, every single mistake, whether it's going broke, whether it's loaning money to the wrong people, whether it's setting up business that went bust, like every single mistake. And along the way, you just learn, right? So I know pretty much everything in terms of what not to do, in terms of how each decision can affect your journey and how you can basically get screwed in the long run, right? And how you can also like basically build a process and be profitable in the long run, so the whole thing of trust the process is true, because in poker, honestly, it's not about how good a player you are, it's about how profitable you can be, and it's about how long you can sustain that profitability, so you rather have like like 10 years of making 20 lakh rupees a year versus like two random years where you make 1 crore each and then you lose for the next 5 years, so that's pretty unstable. So you rather have like a more consistent source, right? So it's a business at the end of the day. After a while you realize that, okay, playing poker is a business. It's not just a game, because you have to learn how to manage your funds, learn how to basically move up and down the stakes, and you're just making decisions at all freaking times, like at all freaking times. So it's about that, man. And yeah, so one thing led to another. Like you said, I've pretty much put my finger in every pie, and now I'm also coaching, so that's fun. So yeah, we can go on to the next one. Okay, so yeah, our goal. So this is where it came from, So when I was growing up, I didn't really have too many people guiding me. Okay, and I had to figure out a lot of things along the way. So the mistakes I made were really costly, because every time you make a mistake on the table, you're paying a price for it. So your cost of learning was extremely high. And a lot of times I actually saw people misleading people, because like, I'll give you perspective. Let's say six of us are playing poker, right? Now at the end of the day, it's a zero sum game. I'm going to be taking money off you from the table, right? So at some level, I don't want you to grow as a person, or I don't want you to get better at the game, so I'm going to be teaching you the wrong strategies, right? And I saw this happening very often. Like, I saw a lot of new players coming in and they were getting misled, and they were being taught the wrong strategies, and in the long run, after a while, they would just lose money, and then they would leave, and then the game never grew. That was one of the reasons, because then they were like, yeah, it's gambling, it's this, it's that. And there were just a small percentage of people that started making money, because they were all like, not they were all studying the game, but then they were teaching the wrong information. And because there was no real program per se to learn, the new guys who were coming on board had to learn from the old guys, right? That's the only way to learn, because there was no content online. Like today, in today's day and age, there's a lot of content available, right? In fact, a lot of our content is also a combination of creation and curation, you know. So we do research a lot, we see what the best content is, and then we try to tailor it to the Indian market. So basically, when Tane and I were speaking, we realized that, okay, we need to have a community which wants to genuinely help people. It's about trying to get you to get better. It's not about misleading you so that I can make more money. It's about growing together. And that's how this whole concept came across. And I mean, man, like fast forward to today, 6 months later, we've grown close to 400 members, which is pretty heartening to see. And our goal is to reach 10,000 by the end of next year. So yeah, man, we're like 4% through.
Yeah, so I think even I come from the same background, where I want to promote education. And being someone from a theoretical background, I enjoy studying theory a lot. And it's not about just helping people, but it's about giving them the right experience in poker. Because I know, like, what I've also gone through in the last 3 to 4 years, I've done some mistakes, and I'm just trying to share this with people and trying to have their poker experience a good one, so that when they come down to Goa, let's say tomorrow, they don't just get crushed by the regs or the pros on these tables, right? They have good skill level to give them competition, and they can make their mark also over there. That's the whole idea about this, and that's how this community came into being. And I think some of you are also on the Discord channel where we discuss strategies on a daily basis. We have a team of mentors, we have a team of coaches, everyone just giving in their inputs over there. Off late, I also started a daily quiz on Discord, which got a lot of good feedback. And people just ping me every day and like say, Tane sir, where is today's quiz?
Yeah,
So
it's we've grown to another point. I mean, we haven't included here, but we also have Shardul on board with us, man. As
yes,
another coach, Shardul also came second in the game changer, and he's just been consistent. So one thing that attracted me to Shardul was the fact that his drive and hunger and like grit. That's something I really like. Because it's not about being the best player. Like I said, it's not about just being really good at the game, but it's about going out there and just putting in that effort every single time you play. You want to be playing. It's a sport at some level too, right? So you want to be going out there on match day and just performing every single time at the highest level, so that to have that nature to compete and that have that nature to accept if you lose but still go out there to play to win, like that kind of mindset. I think that's what I really like, and it's needed in poker. You want to be playing for the win, but you need to know how to accept defeat, right?
yep.
So anyway, so let's move on.
Jumping ahead, we have some few clippings from our camps, which we're going to share with you guys. This is something from our fourth camp, which was in February this year, just before the
Yeah.
lockdown.
It was very different, like when we were teaching people live, the experience was different. But having said that, like we've quickly learned how to translate that online though.
Yes.
So we're not very worried about that. And yeah. So how many of you guys know about this philosophy, man? Give a hungry man a fish and he will eat for one day. Teach him how to fish and he'll eat for life. How many of you guys abide by this or believe in this? Give me a yes in the chat or a no. You guys understand this philosophy? Do you guys understand what we're talking about with this philosophy? Yes. Yes. I see a couple of yeses. Okay. The other 16 guys are
Ekagra
awesome.
gives a cross.
Yeah.
Yes, purely yes.
Awesome. So anyway, so long story short, man, you can like the concept of staking and the concept of, like, okay, you play one tournament, you win this, fine. You'll make like, let's say 10 lakhs by winning one tournament. You'll survive for like, even, I mean, if you're smart about it, let's say you'll survive 6 months, 8 months with that amount. But what happens 2 years down the line? How do you make that fun? How do you make the money? Right?
How do you make consistency? That's the right question.
Consistency is what we really focus on, so you rather be making 10 lakhs a year every year rather than make like 25 lakhs because you won some random tournament and just get screwed the next 2 years, right? So you learn the process, you learn how to basically play the game, you learn what you need to do, and eventually once you learn all of that, it really depends on you as to how you want to scale it up and how you want to take it forward. So like we say, you go to school, right? You learn how to write, you learn how to read, you learn how to do stuff. And after that, it really depends on you as a person. So we're going to be that support in your system, that support in your journey, wherein we're going to teach you a bunch of stuff. We're going to teach you how to go about it. We're going to teach you how to move up and down stakes. And then fast forward, like it really depends on how you guys want to take it forward. You guys want to become the best players in the world, become Phil Ivies and Daniel Negreanu, go for it. It's you. But for that, you need to come here and learn the nuances, right? You can't become Schumacher if you don't know how to drive. So you got to come here, learn how to play poker, and then eventually probably become Phil Ivey or Daniel Negreanu.
Yes. So this is something that we discuss in the goal settings sessions with you guys. You'll have this session mostly with me, and I'll be tracking your records. I'll be telling you to track your daily progress and understand where you want to reach. Let's say 6 months down the line, monetarily or skill wise, or what do you actually want to achieve from poker, because we all have come into this with some particular reason, right? And we want to deep dive into this reason and get a better perspective of how to achieve this and explore this in a much better way that way.
Yeah, awesome. So we can move forward.
Yep. So this has been our last journey. We have had 4 live batches which we hosted in Goa. We have had 3 online batches, and the 4th batch we are going to release next week. And yep, over 300 hours of coaching, 150 hours of live stream. Gondi does this like every Sunday to Sunday for our campers only, right?
Yeah. Last night as well, I was streaming, man. I had to like stop streaming the final two tables of the Super Stack because JD wanted me on his stream. But yeah, I was chip leading for most part and finished 11th again. So I probably
Okay.
need to go get coached and learn how to finish those on 10, final 11. But yeah, let's move on, guys. Okay,
Perfect.
let's
Yeah.
get straight to the topic. All right. So before we go into what is a bad beat, can I get one of you guys to come and tell me what you think is a bad beat? Can one of you do any of you want to volunteer? I mean, it's obviously on your screen, but do any of you want to give me perspective as to what you think is a bad beat? Anyone?
Sonu,
Yeah,
if you're online, you want to jump in. Sonu is our he's already registered for our next batch
yeah,
actually.
yeah. I saw him in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Hi Abhishek, how can I?
Hey man,
Hey.
what's up? What's up? Yeah, go ahead and tell us what you think is a bad beat, Sonu. What is your perspective of bad beat?
So it depends. Like, let's say if I tell it with an example, we have a pocket force, and in the flop we got like a set
Okay.
with 1 4 and a queen and king. But
Okay.
some other people have aces. But at this point, we are good
Yes.
enough to raise the pot, or right. But
Okay.
we don't know at later point what will happen. So let's say we raises and he has a aces, and we also called and raised again, and we put it all the money. Then in that
Yes.
case, if ace came onto the turn or river,
Okay.
then we can consider it because we played better. Because at that moment of time, we are good enough to put in all the chips.
Okay.
But at the end, we are bad. So we can
Okay.
consider this is coming as a bad beat.
Okay, cool. Let me just add to what Sonu said. I'll sum it up. So basically, what a bad beat, a so-called bad beat, is when you get your money in ahead and you lose. Okay. So let's say I have aces and you have kings, which means I have 80% equity and you have 20% and I lose. Right? That's a bad beat. But why does it affect us? You know, it really shouldn't affect us because you got your money in 80% good, and that's your goal. So once you do that, your job is done in poker. You cannot focus on the uncontrollable factors, which is basically the 20%. So when you're 80% favorite, you're going to be winning 8 out of 10 times. So be it, once you understand that concept, there's nothing called bad beat anymore, right? There's nothing called bad beat anymore. So what we're going to do is tell me if you guys get this feeling every time you play. Tani, can we go to the next slide?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me, how many of you guys actually feel like this? Do you feel like you get unlucky all the time? Do you suffer from more beats than your fair share of beats? Do you get the feeling that you always get the money in ahead and lose? Do you feel like whenever you have kings, there's an ace on the flop? Do you feel like your aces never hold up? Do any of you get that feeling? Do any of you give me a yes in the comment section if any of you get this feeling? Any of y'all? Sometimes.
This is the most common statement I've heard, from people. Whenever I have kings, 90% of the times there's an ace on the flop. Have you experienced this? Let's say that.
Yeah.
Used to before, not now. Some say yes.
Okay. Why do you get that feeling? Let's pull up Adesh. Why do you get that feeling? Adesh, can you tell us why do you get that feeling? What are you thinking when you get that feeling?
Kabir is just polarized. Always an ace high board.
Yeah. And where do you guys get the percentage of 90 from? That's what excites me. Where do you
Kabir,
get
Adesh, you want to jump in? You want to jump on the call? You can unmute yourselves. I don't think so.
or do we have Kabir? Kabir, do you want to give us that? Do you want to tell us why do you get that feeling?
Hello.
Yep.
Hey man.
Audible?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like the kind of negativity from losing the previous sessions. You get into that groove key, like whatever happens, I won't win it. Like that sort of negativity before starting any new session, and you're like, no man, even my aces can get cracked, and anything and everything can happen. That's like a certain kind of groove which you get into.
Okay,
Right.
why do you get into that? Like, why do you think your aces can get cracked?
Maybe because of my bad play, maybe overplaying them, or sometimes just to extract value, underplaying them. It's all because of the bad play.
Bad play. How would you define that?
For example, maybe sometimes I used to play on the cash game, more of a cash game.
Okay.
So in that case, when you know there are loose players over there and they would raise you.
Okay.
You're waiting that let them raise and then you re-raise.
Okay.
Limping your that kind of hand gives you a bad beat.
Okay. 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 Are you aware of what equities aces versus kings is?
Yeah,
What is it?
it's 80, right?
Yeah, 80, 20.
Yes.
Okay. What about jacks versus tens?
60.
Okay. What about kings versus queens?
Same equal around 80 only 70 80.
Okay. And so if aces versus kings is 80, 20, what about aces versus pocket fours?
Oh,
Any
um,
any guess?
34.
Okay, cool. Let me tell you, all of those were 80, 20.
All are
Everything was
80.
80, 20. Aces versus kings, aces versus deuces, jacks versus tens, jacks versus eights, kings versus queens. They're all 80, 20 situations. Okay, so it really doesn't matter whether your aces gets cracked or you hold with jacks. You know, you're still gonna, each of those situations is exactly the same. So it's not about just underplaying or overplaying aces. You know, so what happens is you think aces, I have the best hand, I cannot lose. So you get a sense of entitlement, right? And when you're ace, so the mindset is like when you get aces, you're like, okay, I'm gonna win this hand because I have the best starting hand. But people don't realize that it's the best starting hand pre-flop. Everything changes once the flop opens up, right? It's no more the best hand on the flop for most part. Think about it. If you don't flop an ace, it's never. I mean, if you don't flop an ace on a dry board, it's never going to be the best hand. What is the best hand on a king 10 5 board? What is the best hand? Kabir?
Hello.
Yeah, what is the best hand on a king 10 5 board? Let's say you go to a flop. What is the best hand?
I would prefer Queen Jack.
On a king 10 5?
I would like to have Queen Jack in my hand on that board because
Why not pocket kings?
no, if that is the case, Pocket Kings would be played differently, right? Pocket Kings obviously is the best hand on that player.
Correct. No, my question is not what do you prefer. My question is, what is the best hand on a king 10 5 board? Pocket kings, right?
Yeah.
What is the best hand on a queen jack 10 board?
Ace King.
Okay. What is the best hand on a 7-7 deuce board?
Ultimate best should be sevens.
Okay, great. So now when you have aces pre-flop, so why do we always get committed to aces and then lose such big pots on different board textures? You know, so the mindset that people have is that, okay, I have aces, I have the best hand pre-flop, so I'm supposed to win this hand. That's not the case, right? It's only the best hand pre-flop. You're not really figuring out what the strength of your hand is on the flop. You're not really figuring out what the strength of your hand is on the turn, and you're not really figuring out what the strength of your hand is on the river. Everything in relation to your opponent's hand strength. Do you get what I'm saying?
I totally get it.
Right? So this is like the most common like feeling. Like I've seen so many people, they're always waiting for aces, right? And they're like, okay, I got aces, now I'm gonna win everything. It really doesn't matter. It's the same thing if you get queens and your opponents have jacks.
Yes.
It's exactly the same thing.
Because
Sorry?
I wanted to say because if we think that aces would obviously win, then why would it be called poker and not teen patti?
I mean, yeah, that's a whole different ball game altogether, right? Yeah, so that's what makes poker, which is why the first statement that everyone thinks they can play the game, right? So I'll tell you one classical gap that you have in your thought process is as we go forward, you will understand is that people do not think in terms of equities. Okay, it's the most common error. People don't think in terms of equities. People don't think in terms of big blinds. Okay, thinking in terms of equities is the baseline of poker, right? You have to think of every situation as in terms of equities. So every situation is mathematically predefined. Okay, every situation is mathematically predefined. Can you tell me what the best case scenario pre-flop is? If aces versus kings is 80-20, what's the best percentage you can have pre-flop? Approximately. Can anyone answer this for me? I'm sure there are a lot of people who can, but can anyone answer this? 80% in
80%.
Tadesh. Okay. Can we ever have more than 80% pre-flop? Can we ever have more than 80% pre-flop?
So yeah, for real, what is the dominating hand? Like, what is the percentage of that? Like equity
Ace
wise?
King versus Ace 7. Ace King
Okay.
versus Ace 7 is actually
60,
70-30.
yeah, 65-35 types.
Ace King versus Ace 7 is 70-30.
Yep.
You have more equity with Ace 7 versus Ace King than you have with Kings versus Aces. Okay, so just
Rahul
giving
says
like,
90. Rahul has been a part of the camp, so Rahul should know
yeah,
this.
yeah. If Rahul didn't answer this, it would be a problem. But Rahul definitely has
he
to
would be
answer.
having a session with me after this.
Yeah, he would probably get something up his ass. But but yeah, coming back to this, guys, think about it, right? I give you kings, I take aces, and then in another situation, I give you ace 7 and I take ace king. Which situation do you prefer? Understand this, okay? Situation 1, guys, pay attention. I want an answer on the chat, okay? Situation 1, I give you kings, I take aces. Situation 2, I give you king queen and I take queen jack. Or the other way around, I give you queen jack and I take king queen. Which situation do you prefer and why? Yeah, I mean, the queen jack suited, you can take queen jack suited. It doesn't really matter. Changes it by 2%. Situation 1 or situation 2? More equity in situation 2, right? So don't get married to your hand. So don't get married to pocket kings. Pocket kings versus pocket aces is like 80-20. Queen jack versus king queen, actually you have better equity with queen jack. So don't think in terms of just hands. Think in terms of equity. That's the baseline of poker.
Yeah.
Think in terms of equity. And now when we tell you that you're going to have 20% equity with pocket kings versus that of aces, it basically means you're going to be winning 2 out of 10 times. Right? 2 out of 10 times. And when you have queen jack versus king queen, you're going to be winning about 3.5 times out of every 10 times. Right? So which one are you going to have a better chance of winning? So you need to learn equities. You need to understand how it works. Right? And king queen versus queen jack is exactly the same as ace king versus ace jack. So after a while, it really doesn't matter what your hand is. It's about equities.
So
Is that
Roshan
clear?
has a question. In that case, if we have the best value pre-flop, shouldn't we always be jamming preferred pre-flop? So Roshan, that depends on different factors in your game. One is your stack size, and two is your villain also. So if you have a big stack, no one is just going to put their entire money inside, right? Pre-flop. They want to see a flop. They want to play post-flop. But yes, you can always try to put more money in pre-flop with such hands. That's the idea. If you have a shorter stack, you can definitely try to go all in and you will get called sometimes, right? But also depends on a lot of on your villain's hands also in that case. If you always keep jamming 100 big blinds with aces all in, all in, all in, no one's going to call you ever. So you need to understand that not winning the hand is the goal in poker, but winning money, winning chips is the goal. Winning maximum chips. That would be the goal.
Okay, just taking into Tane's point, think about this. Okay, now you both take it. Now you take aces. I take kings. Okay, and in situation 1, you and I play a hand, and the board is, let's say, 7, 8, 10, 5 deuce. Okay, now look at the situation. Now on a 7, 8, 5, 10 deuce, you have aces. I have kings. Let's say you win 20 big blinds off me on that board. Okay, you win 20 big blinds. Let's say each big blind you win 20 big blinds off me on that board. Now let's reverse the situation. I have aces and you have kings, and it's the same board, 10, 5, 7 deuce 5 or whatever that board is. Okay, now on that board I win 50 big blinds off you. Which situation is better? Which situation is better? Where I win 50 big blinds off you, or where you win 20 big blinds off me? It's exactly the same hand, exactly the same board. But in situation 2, I ended up winning way more big blinds than you did. And that's what better players do. Better players will win more amount of money or more chips when they have a stronger hand, and they lose lesser chips when they have a weaker hand. Is that baseline clear, guys? It's about maximizing profits and minimizing loss. So you have to go in with the mindset that you are going to lose about 1 in 3 hands. You are going to lose 1 in 3 hands, like mathematically. You can't do anything about it, right? So once you know that you are going to lose 1 in 3 hands, your goal is, okay, if I'm going to lose 1 in 3 hands, what do? I'm going to minimize my loss because I know I'm going to be losing. So it's about figuring out when to let go of the hand, or it's figuring out how you can get away with the hand by putting the fewest amount of chips in there because you know you're going to lose this hand, right? Or the art of folding, you know, or the art of pot control. But when you have a strong hand, it's about how do I maximize my chips? How do I get my stack all in? Because at the end of the day, the maximum number of chips you can win is the total size of your stack. Think about it. It's as simple as that. If you're sitting with like 50 big blinds, that's the maximum you can get your stack in, right? So you can only win up to 50 big blinds in one game. If you're playing heads up, if you have two guys with you, you can win up to 100 big blinds. So that's the maximum you can win. So when you have a value hand, or when you have a hand where you think you're ahead, the only thing you should be focusing on is trying to get your stack in. That's it. And when you don't have a hand where you think, and when you think you're behind, you should be trying to protect your stack as much as you can. It's as simple as that. And it's the nature of the game. You cannot avoid losing 1 in 3 hands. You cannot avoid it. It's fine. You can go like 10 hands in a row where you win everything. But in the long run, it's going to even out. If you actually look at it over like, let's say 1,000 hands, I mean, you would have lost about 250 hands. But now how many big blinds did you lose in that 250 hands? How many big blinds did you lose in that 300 hands? I'll give you perspective. Let's say in those 300 hands, you lost 5 big blinds each, which means you're losing 1,500 big blinds. Okay. And in the 700 hands that you basically won, you won, let's say 10 big blinds each. So you're winning 7,000 big blinds. Okay. So your net is going to be at 5,500 big blinds. Do you guys agree? Are you with me till here? Just say yes in the comment section. Are you with me, guys? Okay, cool. Now look at another situation, okay, where you play, you lose 300 hands, but you lose 50 big blinds in those 300 hands, okay? And what does that mean? So that basically means you're down 15. You're down 15. Fuck my math. 15,000 big blinds, right? And at the same time, in the remaining 700 hands, let's say you win only 10 big blinds each. So you're actually, although you won more number of hands, you've lost chips in total. In total, you're down. You're overall down, although you won more number of hands. Did you guys get that? I know I stumbled on my explanation because I was trying to do the math, but did you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Or I can repeat myself. Just give me a yes or a no in the section. I can repeat myself. Situation two, basically I win the same number of hands. Okay, out of, let's say 10,000, out of 1,000 hands, I'm winning 700 hands in both situations, right? But in situation one, I win 20 big blinds for in each hand. Situation two, I win 5 big blinds in each hand. Okay, and in situation one, I lose, let's say 5 big blinds for every hand that I lose, and in situation two, I lose, let's say 30 big blinds every time I lose a hand. So although the factors are the same, your net profit is different in both situations, which basically boils down to you want to minimize losses, maximize gains. Got it? Any doubts on this concept? Risk reward ratio should be key. Yeah, I mean, risk reward ratio is definitely key, but that can only be understood once you have equities, once you have a solid understanding of equities. Did you guys get this concept? Give me a yes in the comment section, guys. I can't hear anyone. I can't see anyone.
Yes. They're saying yes.
Okay.
Everyone's saying yes. Cool.
Anyone has a doubt on this? Please ask me, because once you get this in your head, poker will be different.
Perfect. I think we can go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
Let's move to the next one. Wait, Adesh says who gets more bad beats, early position or late? Why are you even focusing on bad beats? I just told you, like, you want to be focusing on maximizing profits and minimizing losses. You're going to be losing 1 in 3 hands on an average. You are going to be losing. It's about how you can protect your chips when you lose, and it's how you can maximize your chips when you win. Go in with that mindset. And you are going to be winning a lot more hands in position. So it's not about bad beats. It's about equities. You know, so it depends on board textures, depends on combos, which we'll teach you at the camp, obviously. But this is just a concept in theory, in a vacuum. Okay. So the mindset that you guys need to have when you get into a hand or when you start playing poker is understand equities. Because the moment you understand equities, it really doesn't matter. You know, okay, you got your money in good. You had 70% and you lost. So what? So what? Like, so what? You had 70%. Your opponent had 30%. He's going to be winning 3 out of 10 times. So what?
So
Doesn't really matter.
for real has a question. When you say you think in terms of equities, you mean just pre-flop or post-flop as well? Post-flop perceived outs versus pot odds or something more than that? So yes, I mean, when you think in terms of equities, it is when the money goes inside, right? So at an even street, that can be pre-flop, flop, turn or river, flop or turn, that is, uh, perceived outs versus pot odds. Yes, so this is something that we discuss in the camps, which is what are your pot odds and what is the price you're getting. So this is something that we do in the mathematics section that you will be attending with me. That's how we'll understand whether the call is right or the call is wrong, or if we have to put the money inside the pot at this point, and what are our equities. And I'll also teach you about how to calculate equities in different spots, be it tournaments or cash games, that way.
So PLO not right now, but we're definitely going to get into PLO soon. But it's the same concept. You have equity in PLO, you have equity in Hold'em, you have equity in short deck. It's all percentages at the end of the day, right? And your goal should just be to get your money in when you're good. Okay, that's all you have to do. If you get your money in when you're like 70%, 60% favorite, you're favorite. Why do you have to care about it? Like if it doesn't come through, it doesn't come through, which is why we focus on the process. Now the process is, how do we realize we're 60% favorite? How do we realize we're 70% favorite? Now that's the process. That's what we're going to teach you, right? In each situation, how to basically figure out what your equity is. That's the process. And once you understand what your equity is, then obviously combined with a bunch of other decisions that you have to make, factors that you have to include rather, you take a plus EV call, which is pretty much to figure out whether you want to call, fold, raise, right? You pretty much have to just figure out whether you want to call, fold, or raise at any point of time, or check if you're out of position. That's it. It's as simple. You want to be checking, calling, folding, raising. You don't have any other option. So you choose an option based on a bunch of factors. Equity is one of the biggest factors. I'm not going to be calling. I'm not going to be calling if I have 20% equity all the time, right? Why would I? I'm going to be losing more often. So I want to be folding in those situations. But now let's say if I find myself in a 70% situation very often, then I want to be calling or raising or getting stacks in. You get that? Is that clear?
Yep. So that's what it means, that focus on the process and not the outcome. Just do the things right as we think, or as per our judgments, and let the rest be on variance. Let's just not think about things that we cannot control, and let's just focus on things that we can control consciously.
Yeah, so it pretty much boils down to what we control and what we can't, just looking at it from a point of view of like real life. At the moment, you can't really control the virus, can you? But you can focus on social distancing, which is your goal or which is your decision, right? Now, if you choose to walk out and go into a place where like 20 people are infected, now that's not understanding equities, right? Because the chances of you getting a virus is higher. Right? Simply put, now when you have aces, yes, the chances of you winning is high, but doesn't mean you're going to win all the time. You're never 100 till you're 100. Even if you have only 98% equity, your chances of winning is not 100, right? So it means your opponent can still win 2% of the times. So if he wins, it shouldn't affect you because you were never 100. Numbers don't lie. You were never 100.
Yep.
Right? So focus on the positives. Don't worry about getting beats. Don't worry about giving beats. And the problem is, like, you never realize the times that you gave a bad beat. Think about it, man. Think about the number of times you cracked aces. Think about the number of times you cracked kings. Do you guys think about that? Never. You always think about the times where your aces or kings got cracked. It really doesn't matter. It's fine. It's going to happen. You're going to crack a few hands. You're going to get cracked in a few hands. Doesn't matter. Just move on, right?
So Adesh is asking in the comments, what is expectations management? Can you talk about that also?
For sure.
Yep.
So
Yep.
basically, when you expect to win all the time and you don't win, there's going to be a mismatch in expectations. It's not just in the game; it's in life as well, right? If you expect something, it's different. And if you expect something and you don't really get it, it's going to lead to disappointment and it's going to lead to like some sort of resentment. However, hoping is very different from expecting, and knowing what the situation is very, very different. So you don't want to be expecting to win. You want to be getting You want to be focusing on getting your money in ahead. Like I said, you want to be focusing on the math. You want to be like, okay, 70% favorite. I got my money in. My job here is done. Now you don't expect for the king or the queen to come out, because you know that's only going to come out like 3 out of 10 times or 7 out of 10 times, whatever the math is at that particular point of time, right? So don't expect to win every single hand. Like I said, play for the win, but be prepared for the loss.
Yep. Moving ahead, I think this is something you have already discussed about
Yeah.
equities. So yeah, when you join the course, we'll also give you a kind of a cheat sheet and a handbook that you will be referring on and off during the course, which will help you.
Do you guys have any doubts, man? I'm going to sum it up in one line, okay? Uh, think about this. Bad beats. Someone's mic is on. I'm sorry.
Yep, I've muted it. Go ahead.
Think about this. Bad beats happen to only good players. Think about this. What does that line mean? Bad beats happen to only good players. It means that you're ahead and you get a beat, right? Good players will get their money in ahead more often than bad players. It's simple. Good players get their money in more often ahead than bad players. So when you get your money in like 70% situations, 80% situations, 90% situations, and you lose, you're a good player, man, because you're constantly getting it in at 80% favorite, 90% favorite, 75% favorite. The moment you start getting your money in at 20%, 25%, 30%, you're going to be losing in the long run, and you'll give a few beats along the way. But if you're often experiencing bad beats, and this is, I'm saying discounting selective memory, okay? Discounting selective memory. If you often experience bad beats, and that means you're a good player. That means you're always getting your money in good. So why worry about it?
So Rahul also has something to put out. Believe we really feel dejected after bad beats if we are playing beyond our appropriate stakes. So I think yes, Rahul, what you are talking about is bankroll management. This is something that we address in the first session itself, because I think this is very, very vital for every poker player to understand, and not only poker player but also every person in real life, to understand how to manage their funds, where to put how much money that is. So if you just put your entire salary, 1 month salary into poker, and let's say you play the 55,000 rupees high roller on some website and you don't make the money, so you're gonna be like, oh man, what just happened. So and then you will always feel that bad beats always happen to me because you just have one bullet. So this is
Yeah.
something that one of our campers asked me the other day कि तने I just lost 70K in 4 days, अब मैं क्या करूं? मैंने कहा कि what stakes were you playing? Were you playing with your bankroll? He said no. And it's simple, like poker is not just a game, it's a war. You need ammunition to go to a war. You need bullets. If you go to a war with 5 bullets, you're going to die at some point. But if you go to a war with 500 bullets, you can survive. You can fight the battle. That's how it's supposed to be. So you have to
Right.
have sufficient binds and a sufficient bankroll and understand how to manage it while going ahead.
Think about this, okay? Now I'm going to give you one last example, okay? Now let's say I give you 10 rupees for every time we toss a coin and it comes heads. And let's say I give you 2 rupees for every time we toss a coin and it comes tails. Will that change your decision? Will you take heads or tails? Can you guys tell me this answer? Will you take heads or tails? Heads, right?
Heads all the time.
Exactly, right?
Always.
Similarly, when I put you in a situation and tell you, hey, you're going to be winning here 70% of the times every time you do this, and you're going to be like, and you're going to be winning like, you're going to be winning 70% of the times every time I give you a situation like this. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the other situation, or are you going to take the 70% situation? Think about it, right? You're going to take the 70% situation, right? It's the same thing. You just need to understand it better. You need to understand it from a different lens. It's freaking exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. To give you a better perspective, let's say you and I heads up, and I tell you, hey, you know what? Heads is going to come 70% of the times. Tails is going to come 30% of the times. And we're going to be betting for like 20 rupees every time we do this. What are you going to take? Are you going to take heads or tails? Heads, right? Obviously, 70% of the times. Right? Same thing. Same freaking thing. If I have aces and you have kings, I'm going to be taking aces every single time, but it's only going to come through 80% of the times. So the only way to combat that is through bankroll management. Because You can go on a run. You can go on a streak where you lose like 10 times in a row, although you're 70% favorite. I can toss a coin. Although heads is 70% favorite, it can come 10 tails in a row. So you need to have that bankroll to withstand that impact. And that's what variance is. Variance is basically when there's a mismatch in the probability and the outcome. I'm supposed to win 80% of the times, but hey, I won only like twice out of 10 times. So I won 20%, but I'm supposed to win 80%, right? That doesn't mean anything else. It just means that the sample size is small.
And that's also expectation management, as you were saying.
Yeah,
Just
that's
don't
also
expect it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Yeah, so I think that brings us to the end of this section where we talk about bad beats. Following ahead, I'll just move ahead where we talk about our campers and what they have to say. These are some of the results from our campers in the past.
Before we go in, we can just any doubts, guys, on this, on the bad beats, on the mindset, on how to perceive it. I hope this session's been pretty clear for you guys, man. It's a quick session. Are you guys clear on this?
No, so
Well,
okay, he says no doubts. He says no doubts.
No doubts at all. Wow. next time I'm going to definitely include some stuff so that you guys have doubts.
If you have doubts, you can always post on our Discord channel.
Yeah.
Come join in there, and I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of doubts over there after
Sure,
you.
man. Once the camp starts, we'll see the kind of doubts that come. Then you'll get in situations where you're playing and you'll be like, wait a minute, how do I calculate the equity here?
I mean,
like,
I get up every morning and my phone is flooded with at least 3 messages of students with doubts. Ki PM, as कहते ये hand में क्या हुआ? I lost this hand. What did I play correctly? I lost with ace king. What happened here?
The other day, I think even Preetham once, he said he got it in with ace king versus ace jack and he lost a big pot.
Okay.
And he's like, how could I have played it better? I said, dude, you got it in with ace king, and you got it in with ace king. Your opponent has ace jack. Like, what more do you want? You had 70% equity. You got it in good. You didn't hold. It's different, So it's fine. It works. So cool. We've not updated this camper results and what they've said, but we've had a lot more results. We've just been like so tied up that we've just not been able to update this.
Yep.
But yeah, man. So these are some of our campers, first campers that we had. Live campers, actually. All of them are live campers. Yudi, Radhika, Ashumi, Anish. Anish was actually one of our first students, man. He's the guy who believed in us initially. First guy to come and pay up when we started the bootcamp. So and then he went on to win the DPT Express after he trained with us for a while. And so we have we support him even now. We support everybody even now because once you come and join us and become a part of the community, we have a paid section and we have a free section, and the free section is more to like have an activity and like community driven where everybody helps each other on Discord. But the paid session is obviously like a lot more serious and a lot more like intricate, where Tane and I are way more involved, right? So this is some of the results. You can go to the next one. Next slide.
Yes. Yes, Kabir, we will be sharing our details how you can join the camp. And I think Hina has also shared the link to a Discord channel, so you can definitely join there also.
Okay. I think there's a question that says, if I start with 25 binds and got up to 50 binds, should I move up the level thinking I play well and will play well in the next level as well? Okay, can we get Girish on? I want to have this conversation. It's an interesting conversation because it's a...
Girish, you can unmute your mic and come on. Yep.
Yeah.
Classical question. Okay, Girish, you can give us your question so that everyone can hear us. And then I'll tell you what I think about it.
So I play the 5-10 level. And I started with 25 buy-ins and now I've made up to, I'm at like 50-60 buy-ins right now.
Okay.
So should I move up the level or should I be playing 5-10 only till I go to, let's say, 100 buy-ins or so?
Okay.
Because
So go ahead. Because you want to?
Because I want to move to the next level and because I think I play well, I play better than other players in 5-10 at least.
Okay. What is your baseline or what are the factors that you consider before you move up and down the stakes?
So when I started, as I told you, I had 25 buy-ins, right? So this is the major factor that I consider कि मेरे पास buy-ins कितनी है. If I have anything over 25 buy-ins, not anything over 25 buy-ins. अब 25 buy-ins है तो I'm playing 5-10. अगर 5-10 में ही वो 50 buy-ins हो गई तो I think कि I can move up to 10-20. So this is the major criteria that I think about.
Okay, cool. So firstly, 25 buy-ins is incorrect. You should never be playing games where you have 25 buy-ins. Okay. Because it will not really. I mean, you can go on a run wherein you can lose 25 buy-ins very easily. Okay. So the minimum buy-ins that we recommend, minimum is 50 buy-ins for any game that you play. Minimum. Okay. Obviously, the more number of buy-ins you have, the easier it becomes to play those games because variance will not affect your bankroll as much. Now think about it. Now think about the fact that you're playing this tournament. I mean, like this cash game at 25 buy-ins. I'm playing the same freaking cash game with like let's say 500 buy-ins. Who has an edge?
You obviously.
Exactly, right? Exactly, because
you won't be scared about the.
Yeah, I won't be scared, right? That's number one. I'll be able to take spots. I'll be able to get my money in like 60% situations now, and it won't affect me. Variance won't really bite me in the ass as much in terms of bankroll, right? So when you're considering moving up and down the stakes, obviously the fundamental criteria is the bankroll that you have, right? The second criteria is you want to be checking your skill edge. You want to be seeing if you can beat that game consistently. Don't move up for the sake of moving up. You want to be understanding the field sizes. You can actually be more profitable at 5-10 than at 10-20. You get what I'm saying? You can actually, with your skill, I'll give you a baseline. Like, let's say you have, let's say you're beating the 5-10 games consistently. You're averaging, let's say, 70 buy-ins a month or whatever, 100 buy-ins a month, right? Versus when you go up to 10-20, let's say you're averaging only 40 buy-ins a month. Which situation is better?
5-10.
Exactly. Yeah. So based on your win rate, based on your skill edge, based on your bankroll, you want to be moving up and down the stakes.
Sure. Thank you.
No worries. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Cheers. Just gonna jump in more ahead.
Ekagra says, how do we decide on how much buy-in tournament we should play? Same rule, man. 100 buy-ins. Tournament variance is in fact even higher. So I wouldn't even recommend 50. I would say minimum 75. Like 75 to 100. Minimum, I'm talking about. But yeah, cool. Let's go in. Camper testimonials, we're going to repeat. Camper testimonial.
Just let me know if the audio is audible.
I can't hear it.
Girish can hear.
Can everyone else hear it?
No audio.
Okay, cool. Basically, they're telling you to join the camp, bro.
Just...
Basically, they're telling you that they had a good time. They're telling you they learned a lot of shit. And they're saying, come join the camp and be a part of the community. Okay, in short. So, I mean, it's obviously better if you can hear it from their mouth. But in short, that's what they said. And
yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it from my mouth. Please come and join the camp.
See, Radhika always waits for this moment. Radhika waits for this moment where this camper testimonial comes and she logs in. Then she logs in.
People need to know how good you guys are. So this is the moment I wait for. Why do you think I'm logged in? I'm sitting here quietly for the last half an hour just waiting for this part and for this slide. So
okay,
all you guys who are thinking about it, please do come join. It's going to be the best decision you've ever made.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. So I'll tell you, go back. Sorry, go back. Yeah, cool. So, this, there was a reason I inserted this image, So when Tane and I were discussing, and if you realize, for those that tuned in earlier on in this webinar, we were talking about where campers help each other, right? We were talking about how we wanted to create a community where people are helping each other after a while, and it's not just dependent on Tane and I. And everybody's just out there giving their piece of advice and their suggestions. And this particular post caught my attention on our Discord, right? In fact, I think Radhika should probably say it on her own. So basically, one of our campers was facing a little bit of problem in certain situations, and Radhika puts out this post suggesting, like you can see, MTT hands and strategy is the topic, and Radhika puts out this post inspiring or motivating, Preetham, and guess what? Preetham went on to win the tournament that day. In fact, he won 2, right, Raj?
Dude, he won like 4 in 3 days or 5 in 3 days.
4.
You know, so
4 or
it's
5. He just kept on winning. I said, ये क्या जादू कर दिया मैंने? ये 2 पैरा क्या लिख दिए? पता नहीं. This guy is going on shipping stuff back to
yeah,
back.
yeah. So
4
you know,
para 4 tournaments.
like this particular post and the effect on Pritham was like a little subtle milestone and win for me, to be honest, man. Because this is exactly the direction and the vibe that I wanted to create when we set out. You know, I was like, man, we need to have a place where people are ready to help everyone else out. You know, you have a problem, we have someone who's going to be helping you out. You know, it's and everyone's out there just helping each other. So this was like a little win for us as a team. You know, and yeah, so this is the kind of vibe that we have. And like you can see Karan saying, I really deal with the same problem. So we're open about problems, we're open about the mindset. The only way we think we can get better, and the only way I think you guys can get better, is if you guys actually talk about it. You know, you guys actually like discuss it and want to get better. The moment you start lying to yourself, the moment you start hiding stuff, the moment you start lying about your hands, you're never going to get better. I have a lot of people come and lie to me about their hands because they want to be perceived as a good player rather than trying to find out what to do better. Right? So this was a little bit of a win for us. We can go on to the
Yep.
main section.
So-
Coaches, somebody is asking in chat if someone has just written in the chat, isn't she too young to play poker? Please
Yeah.
batana bhaiya.
She's poker mom of the boot camp.
That's her daughter, man. That's her daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, cool. So why the Hello Poker course, guys? How many of you all have taken formal training? Can you give me a yes in the chat? How many of you all have taken like a paid course, formal training? Just give me a yes in the chat, or a no if you guys haven't taken a paid course. Okay. Yes, no.
I think it's a mix.
Okay, Gaurav's raising his hand. Gaurav, I'm just gonna come to you.
Hey,
Cool.
Avnish Nikagra
Now,
say
How
no.
many of
Goodness.
y'all have just learned poker through YouTube videos? How many of y'all have learned poker through YouTube videos? Just say me or I, or give me something. Yes, daily. Okay. Me plus Twitch. Me. I watch masterclass.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, a few hours every day on YouTube. Fine. Before I move into what I was trying to say, Gaurav had a question. So Gaurav, you can tell us what your question is. Gaurav, you wanna unmute yourself?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want. I took that big step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So do you have anything to? What was the doubt? Sorry. You were trying to tell us that you took that paid course.
Yeah. Big step.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay,
Got it.
cool. I mean, we're two separate brands. We started the boot camp after, but yeah, we're two separate brands. That was more like an author-publisher relationship, and that's a monologue. This is a dialogue. You know, like that's basically where you watch a bunch of videos. Here, we work with you closely on every aspect, and we have interactions. So the learning modules are very different, and the learning styles are very different. And yeah. Anyway, so coming back to this. Now, let me tell you what happens when you start learning on YouTube, right? You don't know who to follow because there's just a ton of content out there, right? You have Jonathan Little, you have Razor Edge, you have like, Phil Galfond, you have Jamie Staples, you have BBC, you have all of these boys, right? And now they're going to be releasing videos in different ways, you know, what they think is right. Now, the thing is, they're also going to be releasing videos based on what they understand of the US market or the global market. They're never going to understand what the Indian market is, right? That's our edge. The edge Tane and I and the bootcamp have is we understand the Indian market. We've come from here, you know, we understand what goes on Adda 52. We understand what goes on Bazi. We understand what goes on Spartan. We understand what kind of players are these. You know, we understand how to build strategies at these levels. We are like, there's no freaking way, like, I'm going to say this on record, but there's no freaking way, like Ben CB knows what's happening on a 500 rupee tournament on Adda, which you guys are going to be playing. There's no freaking way. Okay. So there's no freaking way like Drummond knows what's going on in Spartan poker during the IOPC, which you guys are gonna play. So that's the edge. That's where we come in. That's where we're like, okay, we know exactly what this Indian market looks like because you guys can't play on foreign sites. I mean, you can play on GG and stuff like that, but for most part, you are going to be playing on Indian sites, and you can only play with other Indians, right? So you want to be getting something which is localized. You want to be getting something that's going to help you, obviously from a system and a process base, but at the same time tailored to the Indian market. Correct? So that's why we recommend this course. That's why we recommend what we're doing. And the other thing about Hello Poker course is when you learn from YouTube, it's all unstructured. You don't like today, you might probably learn like about badbeats. Tomorrow you'll learn about EV. Day after you learn about ICM. But how do you apply that? Okay, I understand ICM, but how do I apply that? Where do I apply it? Now let's say I play a hand and you get stuck in a spot. Okay, where do you apply it? Where do you apply it? How do you know which principle to apply? You're going to come to us, right? You're going to come to the community. You're going to come to Discord. And that's when we're going to discuss it. That's when we're going to talk about it. That's when we're going to be like figuring out how to break this down further. And we also believe that if you've never taken a structured course, if you've never taken a paid course, you have to start from the scratch. I agree you might know some stuff. I agree you might know the golden rules. I agree you might know stuff that you learned on YouTube. We all learn on YouTube. But when you learn from ground up, and if your fundamentals are solid, you will be able to build on that structure. Then your Ben CBs of the world will come in handy. Then your Drummonds of the world will come in handy. Then your Phil Galfons of the world will come in handy. Then the Tanes of the world will come in handy. Like when they talk advanced stuff, you can only build a system and a model once you know the basics. Otherwise, it's just going to be so brittle. Think about a building. Think about a building that doesn't have a sound foundation. It's going to collapse, right? Same thing. So the Hello Poker course, highly, highly, highly recommended for people who've never had any structured training, because you'll understand the most basic stuff like badbeats, variance. You'll understand how things work. Once you realize how things work, then you can build systems, And we also do the live stream where we do like a live, like hand by hand. Obviously, I don't go hand by hand off late because our campers have been watching my streams for a really long time, so they pretty much know exactly what's happening and why I'm doing what. But every time they have a doubt, every time they see something different, they ask me and I explain to them. So it's on the job or it's like real time play. It doesn't get better than that in terms of real time play, right? Where you get to watch and get to learn real time how to make adjustments, how to basically imbibe information, how to basically figure out what factors to consider before making a decision. And obviously we go wrong once in a while. We are human, but at the same time, just figuring out and seeing it from that perspective, I think changes a lot. Yeah. You guys have any doubts on this so far on the Hello Poker course? You guys have any doubts on this? We already have like 5 people who've paid up, and
Yes.
it's the first time we've
had pre-registrations.
Yeah, we've had pre-registrations for the first time ever, which is great. Like, we're super excited. How many of you guys are interested in this and have doubts? Just give me a yes. How many of you guys are interested in this and have doubts? Nobody? No yeses?
I think a lot of response I get from people is that this is good course, but I want to join from next time. But I'll tell you that, if you tell me that you want to join from next time, okay, no worries. But, just think about this. What are you going to do from this time to next time? What are you going to do? You're going to play with the same old knowledge. You're going to have the same old results. You're not working on yourself for a change, right? So I want you to jump in. Like, if you're not taking the Hello Poker course, it's okay, no worries. But put in your efforts to learn something from some source.
Yeah.
Take any source, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just learn. Just grow in the course.
Live update, one of the boot campers on the FT. Which FT? Which FT? Which FT?
I think UD must be only on the FT of IOPC. IOPC 28.
Okay, nice. Boot campers on the FT, guys. How many of you want to be on an FT, man?
Yes, Ekagra, this course is online. It's totally online. So it'll be similar to this Zoom session that we just had. It'll be a 90 minutes theory session or a hand history session with either Govindy or myself or both of us. And we'll have 8 such online sessions as part of this course.
Yeah. Also, what we do is we basically teach you a bunch of theory, and then we go through hands and we discuss a certain thing. You know, we discuss how to get to the bottom of that hand and how do we basically need to get to the right decision. You know, at the end of the day, we want to be focusing on getting to the right decision. So even Shardul is also a part of it. We're just trying to rework in terms of who takes what sessions. Shardul actually handles the more intermediate batches with tournaments. And yeah, are there any doubts, man? Are there any doubts in this? Give me a yes or a no. And good luck to Vivek on the final table. What's up top? Gaurav raised his hand. All right, Gaurav, go for it. Go for it, Gaurav. You can unmute yourself.
What is the price of the course? And
Okay, so the price of the course is 25K, but if you book it today, it's going to be 22,500. Sorry, yeah. You give me
Yes.
10%.
Yes.
Yeah, 22,500.
okay.
So Hina is our PBCI manager. I'll just mute you, Gaurav. There's a lot of
We also have a installment plan if you want. You can pay 10K upfront and you can pay the remaining 15K at the end of the third session.
yes.
So if that helps you guys, do it. You know, but we've had over 50 students, man. One of our students is actually on the final table right now while we talk. Like, don't you guys want to be on that spot? You know, think about it. You know, and it's more about the best thing is you will learn how to develop strategies on your own eventually. You know, it's not so much. It's going to be hand assistance, and then eventually you guys are just going to be developing strategies on your own, and then falling back on us for every time you guys get stuck. You know, so yeah, it's about giving you that confidence.
And I think at every stage, any poker player does need some kind of mentoring and coaching. Like as a fact, even I take coaching today from my coach, and every Saturday I have a session with him, 4 to 5. And that's how I also grow in my game because I'm also stuck at some point. I have a mental game coach, I have a theory coach, and they just help me to just increase my win rate and increase my profits as and when. So that's the total like effect of this.
Yeah.
It's never like okay, now I've reached this and I don't need anything more. Never that at any level where you are.
Yeah, and basically, man, like till today, even I get coached, right? I haven't really taken a paid course of late because I realized that for me, I like my learning curve is at such a point wherein the paid courses are not going to help me as much. So I pretty much know what my weaknesses are, and I pretty much know what I need to concentrate on. So I just focus on those aspects. So what we'll do with you guys as well is we'll pretty much figure out what your weak points are and where you guys are lacking, and then focus on those things. You know, like try to get them better because everyone is different, right? So it's about just focusing on the strengths, using your strengths to your advantage, and like just getting better at your weaknesses, right? So even till today, man, like as recent as like yesterday, I was discussing a hand, I was discussing a spot with some of my friends, and just trying to get perspective. And it's crazy because everybody has a different opinion, so which one is the best opinion and which one is the best way forward? So you obviously have a mathematical approach and then you have a practical approach, in game. So yeah, it boils down to that. Do any of you guys have any doubts? Any doubts so far?
Yeah, let's just take in the last couple of questions and then I think we can close
Sure.
this segment also.
Yeah. Sure. Any
Just
doubts?
waiting for your questions.
Any final questions, guys? Any doubts? Anything you guys want to discuss? Not just about the course. Anything you guys want to discuss?
You can also DM us on Instagram, Poker Bootcamp India. That's our handle everywhere.
Yeah.
pokerbootcampindia@gmail.com also. And yeah, you can also sign up on our website, pokerbootcamp.in, wherein you'll get the same details over there.
Okay.
Perfect.
Avnish has a question to ask. Okay, Avnish, you can unmute.
Avnish, you want to unmute yourself?
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the session. I have been putting decent amount of volumes in the last 15 odd months, and I wanted to understand if there's an intermediate to from a beginner to an intermediate level of course that you have, or is it just going to start from the very basic in terms of mathematics and then build up and dwell on that?
No, so we do have a Think Like a Pro course, wherein we do a lot of intermediate stuff, which is purely focused on tournaments at the moment. So you can see that on the website. The Hello Poker course is what we basically suggest to people who haven't really had any formal training, who really haven't had any structured training, right? And it's all YouTube based. So the mathematics is just one angle of it. We do a bunch of other stuff as well in the Hello Poker course. But if you think you're really, really solid and really, really good at that, you feel free to join the Think Like a Pro course. Where we'll just jump straight into the intermediate batch. However, what we'll do is we'll send you a quick test, and you can answer a few questions, and based on how your answers come out, we'll pretty much know where you're at.
Sure, that'll be very helpful. Both the courses start on 18th of July.
No,
Yeah.
only the Hello Poker course will start on the 18th of July. Think Like a Pro will start next week, like 4 days later. That way. That's the only small change. Sorry.
So I think my bad on that. I thought we were going to anyway. My bad. But we also have a lot of people from the Gamma batch, which is the previous batch, moving to the Think Like a Pro. So we're just trying to work that out as well. So what we do is, in terms of just linear progression, we do the Hello Poker course with people, and then we take them to batch 2, right? Or the Think Like a Pro. So you can skip batch 1, it's fine. But having said that, our experience tells us that after coaching over 50 kids, a lot of people think they know a lot. Like I said in the first line, that it's a game where everyone thinks they can play. But eventually they realize that the Hello Poker course is also of a lot of value to them. So it boils down to that, actually. But yeah, man, if you think Like a Pro is something that you want, just feel free to reach out to us after this call, and then we can probably see how we can include you specifically in Think Like a Pro, and we can work out on whether it's actually applicable to you or not.
Perfect.
Sure, that applicability will be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
I think
Advait also had a question, I think, if he wants to jump in. He
Who?
had raised Advait Menon.
Yeah, he had
his
raised
hand. Kabir, to answer your question, yes, PLO5 can be considered a skilled poker. I have played quite a lot of PLO5. I have not played PLO6 card, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that. But I've played a lot of PLO4 and 5 to tell that yes, there is definitely skill involved there, for sure.
Yeah. Any last question, or should we just move? Any final question? Final question?
Rahul
Given
has a question
that I'm
for
a
you.
Bangalore boy on a tangent, apologies. Given that I'm a Bangalore boy, you think playing live cash at clubs here is a good way to build bankroll, tilt, kings and queens, etc. I mean, it depends on the what do you mean by build a bankroll? Like for me, a build a bankroll could be like 1,000 binds. Build a bankroll could be 500 binds. So you have to set a goal for yourself, and the goal should be more volume based and education based rather than bankroll based. Because money is a byproduct. So yeah, I mean the games are soft at tilt and kings and queens, but if you find a really juicy game, go for it. But keep in mind that the rake might be really high, so it might not be as easy. So you want to be paying attention to the rake. And at the end of the day, playing live, you don't. If you really have a skill edge, you won't be able to build such a big bankroll unless you have a soft game. Reason being, you don't play as many hands an hour. So if you're playing live, you probably play like 15, 20 hands an hour. You play for 8 hours. You're looking down at about 100, 120 hands, and that's about it. So pretty much you have to start building a bankroll, playing 100 hands a day, right? Versus if you play online and you really have a 6 skill edge, you're probably playing like 200 hands an hour if you're multi-tabling. If I play 4 tables, I'm probably playing like 200 hands an hour. And if I play 8 hours long, I'm playing like 1,600 hands in a day. So that's the volume that we're looking at online. So which is why all the real professional poker players and all the real players want to play online. Because your learning is also faster because you're seeing that many more hands. When you see that many more hands, you see that many more spots.
Perfect.
Okay, guys.
Cool.
So, okay, we're going to wrap this session. Thank you so much for logging in. We're going to be doing a lot more of these free sessions. If you guys have any doubts, feel free to reach out to us, mail us, WhatsApp us, Instagram us, do whatever it takes. And we really want to see you there, man. We really want to grow this. Look at this as an investment, not as a cost, because the amount that you're going to be paying for yourself. You're investing in yourself to get better, right? like I think we should just like term ourselves as a non-for-profit organization because we're barely making anything out of this, dude. We're pretty much doing charity. I kid you not. We're working on like break-even numbers for most part. And yeah, man. So hope to see you guys there, man. And good luck with the grind. Good luck to Vivek, who's on the final table. Hope to see that win coming in.
Cheers, boys. Cheers.
Cheers,
See you
guys.
soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Thank you.